Hello, it's your friend Josh Thomas here. It's your old racing buddy Josh Thomas here with with my video review for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Nintendo Switch game booster pack DLC number 5. We got a whole slew of courses to talk about here. I'm gonna give you my thoughts and have a little bit of fun. Sit back, relax. Let's talk about it, shall we? It's always exciting when we get a new litter of Mario Kart tracks. So let's go over them. As usual, I've got my notes here that I've written down because I'm a simpleton and can't remember what my own opinion is of something I just played 5 minutes ago. Okay, so before we get, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk about each individual track and I'm gonna give them a rating, a 5-star rating, 1 to 5 stars. But before we get into that, I got some miscellaneous comments to talk about. Number one, we've got to talk about this. They added 3 new characters to the roster of who you can race as. Oh my god, you guys, every single one of these is a character I would have wanted in the game. Like if you told me make a list of 5 characters you want to see in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I absolutely would have said 3 of these. So we've got Kamek, we've got Wiggler, and we've got PD Piranha. All of those are a major home run. I love these characters. My favorite Mario enemy is Wiggler. So I love that they brought Wiggler back. Of course, Wiggler was in Mario Kart 7 for Nintendo 3DS. So having Wiggler in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is so cool. I want more playable Wiggler. Wiggler is playable in Mario Super Sluggers for the Wii. Just want to point that out. So Wiggler's amazing. My favorite Mario game of all time is Super Mario Sunshine. So naturally, I love that PD Piranha is in here. Mario Kart Double Dash, you know, that's the last time he was playable in Mario Kart, so great. And then Kamek. Kamek was supposed to be playable in Mario Kart 64. And there's even screenshots, and I think there might have even been some footage that leaked from a long time ago. And then, of course, Kamek was replaced and has never been in Mario Kart. So it feels like justice has been served, and Kamek is playable. But yeah, these are all great characters. I really love them. Something I wanted to point out about these characters, I really liked having new voice samples for all of them. PD Piranha especially. I don't know, I could be wrong on this, but I think they've just been using the same PD Piranha voice samples since Mario Sunshine. So anytime PD Piranha would be in like a Mario spin-off game, they were just using the old 2002 voice clips. So it's really neat to have some new PD Piranha sound effects. I really like that. Wiggler as well, and Kamek. I just really like that they went the extra effort and had new voice samples put into the game instead of using just, they could have been lazy and just been like, oh, just use the ones we already have. So I really like that. Another thing I noticed about these 3 new characters is their animations seem to be more interesting than the default game characters. And I really like that. It's so funny because not long ago I was thinking about the first time I was playing Mario Kart Double Dash. One of the things that really stood out to me as a kid back then was the animations of all the characters in Double Dash. I really liked seeing the animations. And then, for some reason, I don't really notice them as much these days, but now I did for these characters. So I really like that it seems as though they maybe had a little more fun with animations. Kamek uses the wand and has the little magic icons or imagery or whatever happens, the shapes. And PD Piranha does a lot of fun things, and Wiggler gets mad. When you hit Wiggler with something, Wiggler gets mad. So animation, voice clips, and all 3 of the characters, really, really, really good. Love those a lot. Once again, I'd like to quickly point out there are too many damn real-world cities in this DLC. There are 3 of them in total. Holy crap, that's way too many. That's almost half the DLC. And I also wanted to point out, this DLC pack definitely has some summer vibes. They might have gone out of their way to make sure that they included a good amount of summery tracks, so I appreciate that. You'll know I'm always talking about that stuff. There's a few more things on here I should have mentioned. I'll set it aside, maybe for the end. You probably want me to get into the actual tracks, so let's do it. First up, we're going to talk about the Feather Cup, and the first track in the Feather Cup is the Athens Dash. This one is probably one of the better real-world locations. I don't like them. Maybe you do, that's fine, that's cool. But I have noticed most people would prefer wacky Mario-themed courses over these kind of levels. But this one's not bad, and I'll tell you why this one's a little more interesting. It's not a typical modern city. It's not a city. It has a different vibe to it. It's like a rundown city from a long time ago sort of vibes. Has a unique, sort of a unique feeling to it. It's also got really great music. It's got like epic music going on. I kind of like that music. It makes me feel like I gotta get first place, you know, sort of a deal. So yeah, it's funny though, because I don't have like a lot of stuff to say about this track. I like the pillars that are falling and the flow of the track is pretty good. Visually, it looks a little dated. Sometimes it looks a little too simple. There's one moment in particular where you look in the background at the buildings and they're literally just boxes with like a solid color. And it's like, okay, well, that looks a little bad. They're off in the distance, I get it, but couldn't you have had like a fog effect or a blur effect back? I don't know. But overall, the Athens Dash is definitely one of the better real-world tracks because it's not a stupid, boring city. So I liked it. I'm giving that one a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, not a ton of things to say about that one, but I did enjoy it. I do like it. Next up, oh baby, let's do it. Daisy Cruiser, okay, it's my opinion. Yeah, whatever. One of the best Mario Kart tracks ever. I love how unique it is in its concept. Just really, really fun. A Mario Kart track that takes place on a giant cruise ship. That's pretty erotic. That's pretty... I meant to say exotic, but I said erotic. But I just love it. It's a brilliant setting. They also added a new pathway towards the starting line, and I know they did this in Mario Kart 7, I think. But you used to, in Double Dash, you could just go to the right. Now you can go to the left or the right. The left, I think, is a little bit longer, just a little bit, but you can get items over there, whereas in the right, I don't know if you can. I could be wrong about that. No, wait, I am wrong about that, I think. Anyways, you could go to the left or right. I like the options, okay? They have a pool that you can dive into, and I like the little Goombas on the rafts, the little floaty rafts. That's really fun. Good stuff there. Hey, by the way, in the little pool area, this is a little bit of a disappointment. There's supposed to be piantas on the sidelines, like underneath the little cabana area with like the umbrellas or whatever. In Double Dash, those are pianta, but in this game, they're just Yoshi, like Yoshis and Toads. It's a little too generic. And they have piantas in the game, like they're on the sidelines of other maps, so I'm not a huge problem, but I feel like piantas should be there. I love all the flags that kind of branch over the areas, very nice colors. I love how they're like the power-ups in the Mario universe. That is, really cool. The dining room area looks great. So of course in this map you go into the little dining room and you go through it, and they have the tables like sliding back and forth because it's a cruise ship and, you know, something to avoid. I love how they put actual characters sitting there and eating a meal. They were just like empty before, I'm pretty sure. There's nobody sitting there. So that's really fun. And I love the colors in that area because it used to be, it's Daisy colors now, like the orange and the sort of yellowy vibes and the flower patterns. The chandelier in that area is really pretty. It's like a crown. So yeah, the dining area has just been totally improved. I love the new color scheme to match Daisy. Before it was kind of like dark and dingy. It was like purplish blue. Now it's hugely upgraded. I love that. And so yeah, this whole level just feels like it's been fine-tuned. This is the ultimate version of Daisy Cruiser. There's one thing that I do wish... Oh, wait. There's one thing I wish. There's two, technically, but I already said about the piantas. The other thing is, towards the end, when you cross the finish or start line, there used to be some inner tubes hanging from ropes that you could bump into, and then they might, like, hit the people behind you or something. They removed those, and I know those weren't in Mario Kart 7 either, but I just liked those. I thought it was fun, and I wish they would have kept those in. So, yeah, minor gripe, but, yeah, this is the ultimate version of Daisy Cruiser. The remix is very good. You know me. I like the tropical vibes, especially in the summertime. And so, yeah, really great. I would give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Really cool. Just a couple little things in there could have pushed it over the top. But yeah, one of my favorites in the entire game. Next up, we move on to Moonview Highway. So this one's nice. It's from the Wii, of course. And it's probably one of the better city tracks in Mario Kart history. Is it my I kind of like the city track in Double Dash, maybe a little better, but this one's really great. So, it's got a nice glow to it. That's one of the notes I wrote here. I like all the glowy lights, the neon vibes. I love the mayhem in this one. There's a lot of mayhem with the traffic and everything. The Bob-omb cars. You gotta wonder, what is the Bob-omb car even made for in the Mario universe? Is that like something Bowser made? Is it actually transporting things? I don't know. Is it just there to cause mayhem? Possibly, but I like it. I really like the Bob-omb cars. And I like that it's not just a city. You know, you do go into like a woodsy area, you know, sort of the off skirts of the city. Really nice. And of course, it's called Moon View Highway, so it's really good to see that big, beautiful, glowing moon off in the distance. I like that a lot. Shortcut is easier to pull off than in Wii. When I played this game on the Wii and I tried to pull off that shortcut, the one that I'm sure most people know about, I'd always go flying right over the dang edge. But here, it's easier to not fly over the edge, so I kind of like that. It makes the shortcut a little easier, but I like it. I think they added a shortcut on the left side over there, too. I don't remember that one. I like some of the ads in this city, like the Mushroom Car Insurance ad. I don't know, I found that cute. The Mushroom Moon Musical. It's like a big ad for Mushroom Moon, the musical. I want to go see that. I don't like musicals, but I'll go see that. This is also a very weird thing to say, but I noticed that when you watch the replays for this track, I like the camera in the replays. Some of the tracks, I don't like the camera positioning that they have programmed in, but I like this. This gets a lot of good shots of like the character and everything. So that's Moonview Highway. I give that one a 3 out of 5 stars. There's no major like problems with it, but you know, I just think it's like a solid city track. Maybe not one of my favorite, but it's a 3 out of 5, possibly 4 out of 5. But I'm going to go with 3. Next up, we got the Squeaky Clean Sprint. Oh my god. This is the one. This is the one, folks. This is, I mean, I can't say everybody's, but I would say this has to be everybody's favorite. And again, I know that's not true, but this is the standout track of this pack of DLC, this booster. This is I'm just going to say it right now. Why not? This is a 5 out of 5 stars. This one is great. Takes place in a bathroom. Everybody's been shrunk down and you're racing around in a bathroom. I came up with this concept that this track to me feels like the Then This Happens course. So allow me to explain what I mean. What I mean is when they were making this track, they're like, oh, let's do one that like takes place in maybe like a bathroom and you're shrunk down. And you start off on a sink. And then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. And then this happens. Oh, yeah, and then this can happen. And this can happen. Feels like a lot of that. So to make sure that I get this right, I got to read from my notes. So as I said, you start off on a sink top. And then you dive into the sink with water. I love how the faucet is dripping. Nice little touch there. And then you ramp off of towels after the sink, and then you dive into a bubble bath, and then you get sucked into the drain of the bubble bath, and then you shoot out and swerve past a big fan, which is blowing at you. Then you launch over a toilet, and then it's like you land on a cabinet, and you turn around the corner, and then you do it all again. So it really is the and then this happens kind of course, and I love that kind of design. This just feels like the people who made it really knew what they were doing, and they were just having a blast, and they keep coming up with little ideas. I really like all the little clever products that are around the bathroom as well. I'm sure many of you noticed them, like the Mario Band-Aids, the fabric softener, which has the little Mario cloud on it for softener, right? It doesn't just say fabric softener and then have like Princess Peach on it. It's fabric softener, and they use the Mario cloud to like, you know, really make it feel clever. There's also the Magic Clean, which has Magic Koopa. Well, he's Kamek technically, but like they use Kamek for the Magic Clean thing. That's really cool. I like how one of the cleaning products is for like getting out stains, and they used a blooper to like illustrate getting out stains because of the ink. Really cool and clever. I like all the Mario soap bars with like the power-ups on them. The Yoshi egg soap dispenser. Oh, and then there's like Piranha Plant minty toothpaste. Again, Piranha Plants have all those teeth, so they would be great for like a toothpaste sort of a deal. So, oh, and the bath bombs that are fizzing in the bathtub that you can actually like trick off of the fizz, and it's even got like a little bit of color in the fizz too. When you're in the drain, you see little things like a paper clip. of course, you see a big golden ring. That ring might be a reference to the ring from Super Mario Odyssey. I could be wrong, but I think some of the texture work looked very similar, like the Aztec design. I could just be imagining that. But nevertheless, like going through a wedding ring is so neat, and there's an item in there, but it kind of slows you down, so maybe you want to use a mushroom boots. I mean, this is an amazing course. Oh my god. I want to pretend that this is actually just Mr. Miyamoto's bathroom. But this is what Mr. Miyamoto's bathroom looks like at home with all the Mario stuff all over. It also has great music. The music is like, it just feels very like exciting. Almost feels like an infomercial trying to sell you a product or something. Squeaky Clean Sprint, 5 out of 5 stars. It is my favorite in the DLC pack. And I'm out of breath. I'm so excited talking about a bathroom. So that is the Feather Cup. We're going to move on now to the Cherry Cup. So this one is definitely weaker than the Feather Cup, but there's some notable good things in here. So it starts off with Los Angeles laps, and you might be like, uh-oh, Josh hates California, Josh hates LA, and he hates the city tracks, the real-life city tracks. He's going to give this like a 1 out of 5 stars, right? Wrong! Actually, I kind of like this one. So Los Angeles laps, I would give a 3 out of 5 stars. And it's not bad. It's got summer vibes. It's, I really like the boardwalk and the beachy vibes. That's really cool. That's really great to me. I really like the skate park thing too. There's like a little area with like skate park ramps and graffiti and stuff. It's just one little section. I kind of wish there was more to that. I wish they had more skate park things going on. I'm pretty sure skateboarding was invented in California, and I'm pretty sure surfing was also invented in California. A lot of people think that was like some Hawaiian, tribal, Polynesian thing, but I don't think it. I think it was invented in California. So hey, California used to do a lot of great things. But yeah, that's really cool. Oh, and when you fly over the baseball stadium, really love that. That's really fun. Of course, I did play this track when it was in Mario Kart Tour, so I was aware of this stuff, but it's really neat to see it in like an actual Mario Kart game on my TV, you know? So I love soaring over the baseball stadium. Some of the crowd in the baseball stadium looks like shit. It's just weird how crowd scenes in the original tracks are full 3D characters, and now in the DLC, it's always like some crappy flat texture that looks weirdly stretched and it doesn't look good. But I do like the baseball stadium. That's really neat. I like how there's a little thing with like a Mario convention in Los Angeles or something. Seems to be kind of referencing like E3 in a way. Some of the buildings look really horrible. They could have used a bit more detail, for God's sakes. That's a complaint that I could register to all of the city tracks, but it's always worth mentioning. I like the little oil drilling area. That's kind of funny. That's an interesting thing. I don't know if that's fracking. I was told that that wasn't actually fracking, but whatever. I kind of like the little oil pump things. That's neat. They are missing some of the detail. It's really funny when you play these courses that are based on real-world cities, especially the American ones. I'm always like chuckling to myself about how they're really not an accurate representation of what these cities are nowadays. Like there should be little homeless camps in the LA Mario Kart track, little tents, have little like dirty me's running around doing drugs. And of course I'm not happy about that happening in real life, but it's just always like, yeah, okay Mario Kart, this is what Los Angeles looks like, sure. This is what LA looks like to like somebody who's never been to LA but only watches movies. But, yeah. Oh, I love the little sidestepper crabs. I think those are from the original arcade game, Super Mario Brothers. Or I think it was just called Mario Brothers in the arcade. But I love those crabs. Those are like some of my favorite Mario enemies as well. They ruined the music in this one. So this is a track that was made for Mario Kart Tour on mobile, of course. And the music used to go ba 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 ba. It was like actual ba 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 ba. Like they had somebody baa-ing like you hear in Mario music. And they took that out and they just replaced it with like an actual instrument. I don't like that as much. I like the singing. I think that's fun. So I would have kept that in. So the music is good, but it's downgraded from what the original version is. So that's Los Angeles Laps. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's not bad. It's a nice reminder of what Los Angeles should be like instead of what it is in reality, unfortunately. Moving right along to Sunset Wilds. So Sunset Wilds is one of the more disappointing tracks in the game because the sun doesn't set. So this is a Game Boy Advance track, and as most of you probably know, on the Game Boy Advance, this track actually would get darker with every lap. So it would be like the final lap would be like almost nighttime. I don't know why they didn't keep this in. This is like the main thing that makes the track interesting, because without that, it's just sort of a typical track. I really want to like this one. I really want to like this, but I feel like it's also just too similar to tracks we already have in the game. So we've got the little Shy Guys in this track that are like mining, but we already have that in Shy Guy Falls, which was one of the original tracks in the game on the Wii U, Mario Kart 8. And then it's also similar to the Nintendo 64 track of Calamari Desert, with like it's in the desert and it's kind of sunset vibes. So it's too samey to things we already have. And the thing that could have set it apart would have been that with every lap it gets a little darker, and that would have been cool. But they don't have that. The music is really good. I like the music in this. It's got like a good Western adventure vibe to it. I love a good Western adventure. So yeah. I like the good music. I also like the big footprints that you see on the ground. It seems like they're Bowser's or some big creature. That's really nice. And it is a pretty nice looking track, but the lack of a sunset really holds this back. Maybe they can update it. I'm assuming maybe they didn't do the sunset because in Mario Kart 8's engine, maybe they don't have the ability to change the time of day in real time. Like changing the lighting in real time. Maybe the engine just can't do that. I don't know. Or maybe it's because they figured, well, you play this game in multiplayer and you play it online. So like, when are we going to change the sunset? Is it going to be based on each player? Like if I'm in first, I would see the sunset after I pass the starting line before the person in 8th. So do they have to wait? Like, is it programmed? You know what I mean? Like, so it could have been that. Either way, there's definitely a way to get around it, I'm sure. Hopefully they update that one and make it actually set, the sunset. Oh, I would give that a 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I said that. 2 out of 5 stars for that track. 2 more left. Oh, this is going to be controversial. This is a hot take. Let me tell you. Koopa Cape. A lot of people like Koopa Cape. It's a classic Wii one. I don't really like this version. This Koopa Cape in this DLC pack for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I would give this a 1 out of 5 stars. Just because of how much they bastardized my boy. First of all, they changed a lot of the color scheme to just look generic. The mountains used to be more gray, like all the hillsides and the mountains were gray. Now they're just that generic brown look that we see in so many things, like other tracks. So I thought that was genericifying it a bit. I didn't like that. There also used to be a lot of like Koopa shell designs and patterns in like the gravel on the bottom around the track. That was all removed, which why would you do that? Because it's Koopa Cape, so you want to have that Koopa shell aesthetic as much as possible. But they removed it. So it's like they genericified it. They bastardized it. I don't like that. I do like the starting line, how it's got like a little robotic Koopa shell. Oh, this is a bad... Let me stop doing that. It's got a robotic Koopa shell going back and forth. I like that. This video's already too long. I'm losing my mind. Oh, I like how the music changes up based on where you are. I think this was true in the Wii game as well, but like when you get into the water, the music remixes itself and it's really cool. There's also a remix when you're underwater. That's nice. That's a cool thing. Although I think that was in the Wii game as well. There's also like just a lot of things missing. Like there used to be little zappy spinners when you're in the tube, but now they removed those. I guess because they opened up the tube and technically you're underwater. But I just don't like it. It's not as fun that way. It's nice to have an extra obstacle. And there used to be like a little bit of water in the middle of the tube, so if you could stay in that water, you got like an extra boost. That was really neat. I liked that. So, oh, and there's no big Koopa sign. There used to be like a big Koopa Troopa sign above an archway, and they removed that. Everything just feels downgraded on this one. This is not the best version of Koopa Cape. The Wii one is still way better. This is a 1 out of 5 stars. I was very disappointed in Koopa Cape in this. And I know most people probably won't agree with me on that, I guess, but I don't know. Get higher standards. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And we're ending it on a low note because the last 2 courses are 1 out of 5 stars. This is Vancouver Velocity, like I just said. 1 out of 5 stars. This is an example of everything I hate about these stupid city real-world location tracks. It just feels like a mess. It's crowded. You have all these like bad turns where you'll have like a corner that is like a sharp box. You have to like turn it. It's just really dumb. They have to resort to having tons of big red arrows to tell you where to go. In my opinion, if you are making a Mario Kart track and you need to keep having these huge red arrows to tell the players where they're supposed to turn, that is an indication that your track design sucks. It should just naturally be intuitive for the player to know where they're going to have to go and where they're going to have to turn. If you need to be like, hey, by the way, this way, this way, this way, this way, with like huge holographic arrows, then your course does not flow very well, and that's a problem. This level is loaded with those. And again, it just feels like, it's kind of like the New York City track. It's got those vibes. It's trying to be like cold weather, but it's still not nailing it for me. Like there's like a Christmas vibe with like pine trees and snow and little lights, but it just doesn't give me any kind of good Christmassy mood. It just seems stupid. There's also like autumn stuff in here as well, and I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. This one just sucks. I hate it. It's uncomfortable to race in. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to be a Christmassy winter thing, but it also wants to be like a fall autumn thing. It also wants to be a city, but I don't know. Just, yeah. And I don't even like the music. The music in that one is pretty meh. It's got like generic 90s not jock jams, just kind of like dance, like annoying DJ dance music that doesn't really have much of an identity. I don't really like it. Music is subjective, so maybe you like it. That's perfectly fine. I did not. So that one's a 1 star out of 5. There was one final miscellaneous comment I didn't get to say, so I'm going to say it here just to add it in. Yeah, there's 2. First thing I noticed with this DLC is now that we're getting new characters, I really wish we would get new kart parts as well. The wheels, the frame, and the gliders. I'm looking at what we have available to us, and a lot of it, not all, but like half the karts suck. They're not clever, they're not fun, there's not a novelty to them, they just seem kind of boring. Like, it feels like we have no gliders. How are there not new gliders added at least or something? Like every new character comes with a new glider or whatever, I don't know. Feels like the kart parts are really lacking these days now that I look back on them. I'm kind of like, man, a lot of this is just stupid looking generic kart thing. Like, I don't know. So I'm bummed about the kart parts now. I want some new kart parts. I also wanted to mention the concept of what a Mario game looks like is definitely something that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has made me think about. Because the original tracks before the DLC, in a weird way, in some cases, they kind of go too realistic. A lot of like real textures, like realistic texture work is used for some of those original ones. And it still looks kind of cartoony, but I don't love that. And then I look at like the new DLC, which doesn't have a realistic look to it at all, and in some cases is too simplified. And it's just like solid colors with no like detail. So I kind of want them to take both of those sides and weld them together. Take a little bit of the extra detail and take that kind of iconic Mario simplicity and put that together. That's why I think courses that are remastered from like Double Dash or the Game Boy Advance or those end up looking really good. Like Daisy Cruiser to me is beautiful. That's like what most of the tracks should look like. So anyways, just a little thought about what Mario visuals should look like in modern times. I think that a lot of artists working on these games kind of struggle to understand what that should be, and they just settle for realism. Because it's like, we want the game to look modern and new and nice and detailed, so they just kind of mistake that as being, okay, let's use realistic dirt, realistic looking trees, realistic bushes, and realistic, you know, so it's just like, well, but that's not Mario. So you got to find out how to make Mario look detailed without looking realistic. Anyways, just a little end rant here, but this was honestly, aside from a few stinkers, this was a pretty great selection of DLC tracks, and I really love that every 3 months or so we get to jump back into Mario Kart 8 and get excited again over all these new courses, and it's just really great. I like it. Like I said, Squeaky Clean Sprint definitely stands out. Daisy Cruiser stands out, and quite a few others. So thank you for watching. Holy crap, I don't know how long this video is, but I bet it's long. So I will see you guys later. We got Pikmin 4 in like a week. Holy shit. I'm excited. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. I gotta go jogging. It's like 90 degrees out there. I gotta go jog. All right. Bye.